The chandeliers of the Grand Wellington shimmered like liquid gold above a crowd that smelled of wealth and rivalry. Waiters drifted between the tables, and laughter rose like smoke. Sharp, practiced, cruel. At the center of it all sat Jonathan Hale, Wall Street's golden son, and beside him, his quiet wife Emily, in a silver gown that caught every light except his. He leaned toward her with a smile meant for the cameras. "Smile, Emily. Don't make me regret bringing you." His words landed like glass breaking softly. She nodded, her hand trembling just enough to spill a few drops of champagne. The gossipers nearby didn't miss it. Then the room shifted. Olivia Grant, his PR executive, red hair blazing, lips curled in confidence, approached the table. "Oh, how lovely to finally meet the wife," she said sweetly before tilting her glass. Red wine splashed across Emily's dress. Gasps, then laughter. Jonathan chuckled. "You should watch where you stand, Emily." But her silence wasn't weakness. It was precision. Beneath the humiliation, something powerful began to move. The kind of stillness that precedes a storm. Fire don't blink. What comes next will redefine revenge. Subscribe now to Canada's Heartfelt Tales for stories that turn pain into power. The ballroom's laughter still echoed long after the lights dimmed. Red wine dried into Emily's silver gown like a scar she'd wear until morning. As she walked through the empty corridor, her heels clicked against marble, each step sharp and measured. Behind the locked doors, people toasted her humiliation. They wouldn't remember the details tomorrow, but she would. Every smirk, every whisper, every cruel laugh, etched deep like carvings on glass. Upstairs, in the penthouse Jonathan called theirs, the night smelled of expensive cologne and silence. He came in late, still glowing from applause. "You left too early," he said, tossing his jacket aside. People noticed. Emily said nothing. He poured himself whiskey and laughed under his breath. "You always ruin the mood, don't you? Maybe you enjoy being the victim." She turned slowly, her voice calm. "You let her pour wine on me." Jonathan shrugged. "Accidents happen. Don't be dramatic." She smiled when she did it. "And you stood there," he said coldly. "That's the difference between you and her. You fight. You freeze." He left the glass on the counter and went to bed. Emily stood in the silence he left behind, the chandelier's reflection trembling across the marble floor. She walked into his office, drawn by instinct, not curiosity. Papers covered the desk. Contracts, acquisitions, merger drafts. One folder lay open, signed in her name. Her signature was perfect. Too perfect. Her breath slowed. Her father's company, Carter Engineering, was printed on the letterhead. That name was supposed to be gone, merged, erased. But here it was, branded under Jonathan's empire. Every document bore her signature, forged and flawless. It wasn't just betrayal, it was theft, systemic and deliberate. Her name was the foundation of his fortune. The discovery didn't spark tears. Sparked calculation. She closed the folder carefully, almost tenderly, as though sealing away the ghost of her father's trust. That night, while Jonathan slept in luxury bought with her legacy, Emily sat at her desk under the dim lamplight. The documents spread before her like evidence at a crime scene. She studied every page until dawn, steady, relentless, a storm contained in silence. The next morning, sunlight spilled through glass walls. Jonathan scrolled through headlines at breakfast, grinning. "The press loved last night," he said. "Well, accept your part. Maybe stay out of photos next time." Olivia's name appeared in every article, her red dress framed beside him. The wife was just background noise. Emily poured his coffee without a word. He didn't notice her shaking hands had steadied. "After this deal," he said casually, "I'll be free to start over. You'll get your settlement. You should be grateful I'm generous." She smiled faintly. "Generous," she repeated. "That's what you call it." He looked up. "Don't start, Emily. You wouldn't survive without me." When he left, she gathered every contract into a neat stack, slipped them into her tote, and called a cab instead of the chauffeur. The city outside roared with ambition, the kind that chewed up anyone who stood still. She wasn't standing still anymore. Her first stop was Whittaker and Lowe, the old law firm her father had trusted. Mr. Whittaker, now gray and tired, stared at the documents under the light. "My God," he whispered. "These are forged. Your husband used your signature for every authorization." He looked up grave. "Legally, Emily, you own his company." The words didn't bring joy, only clarity. "Then let's make that official." Over the next weeks, she built her quiet rebellion. Late nights turned into blue mornings filled with strategy and coded phone calls. She contacted former employees Jonathan had ruined, engineers dismissed for integrity, partners pressured into silence. At first, many refused to talk. But when they heard her name, they listened. One by one, the walls around Jonathan's empire began to crack. An analyst named Ethan Brooks, once her childhood friend, sent her encrypted files, spreadsheets tracing illegal transfers, fake charity accounts, and offshore laundering. "He used you to build an empire of lies," Ethan said over the phone. "But he never thought you'd look this deep." Emily's voice was calm. "He forgot who taught me to read a balance sheet." By the end of the month, she had everything: proof, witnesses, leverage. But she didn't act yet. She waited, patient as ice forming under still water. The day of Jonathan's grand signing, the $8.4 billion merger, would be her moment. When that morning came, the city glittered under early sunlight. Cameras crowded outside Hale Global's headquarters. Jonathan stepped out of his car with Olivia on his arm, both of them smiling like royalty. "Today," he told reporters, "we changed the future of corporate history." Inside, executives lined up, investors buzzing with greed. The air hummed with money and ego. And then, quietly, the elevator doors opened. Emily stepped out. She wore a tailored gray suit, simple and sharp. No jewelry, no entourage, just an envelope in her hand. As she walked past the reception, whispers followed. People recognized her, the gala wife, the humiliated spouse. None of them understood why she was there. In the boardroom, Jonathan stood beside the lead investor, Mr. Carrington. The signing began with applause. Champagne bottles chilled in silver buckets, cameras flashing. "Gentlemen," Jonathan announced, "to new beginnings." Then the door opened again. Emily entered. The room went still. Jonathan's smile faltered. "What the hell are you doing here?" She placed the envelope on the table. "You should read this before signing anything." Carrington raised a brow. "And you are?" "Emily Carter Hale," she said, steady. "Co-owner of Hale Global. Every asset here was obtained under my forged signature." Jonathan laughed, hollow and sharp. "She's delusional. My wife's having one of her episodes." Emily didn't blink. "Inside that envelope is proof. Contracts, witness statements, financial trails. Every acquisition tied to your name is illegal." Carrington opened the file. The room fell silent as he read. His face darkened. "Jonathan," he said quietly, "these are serious allegations." Jonathan's charm cracked. "You can't believe this. She's trying to ruin me." Emily's voice stayed calm. "No, Jonathan. You did that yourself." Olivia's face drained of color. "Is this true?" she whispered. Jonathan snapped. "Stay out of this." But she stepped back, disgusted. "You said everything was clean." Carrington stood. "This deal is over. Effective immediately. Your accounts are frozen pending investigation." Jonathan's eyes widened in panic. "You can't do this. This is my company." Emily met his gaze. "No, Jonathan. It's mine." Security entered quietly, responding to Carrington's signal. Jonathan tried to push past them. "You'll regret this, Emily. You're nothing without me." He turned away. "I was everything before you." Cameras flashed. The fall of a billionaire began in real time. By noon, every financial network ran the story. Corporate fraud exposed. Hale Global under federal investigation. In the chaos that followed, Jonathan's name became poison. Investors withdrew, partners sued, and Olivia disappeared from the headlines as quickly as she'd entered them. The empire built on deceit collapsed like glass under pressure. Days later, reporters camped outside the Hale mansion. Jonathan shouted at the gates, demanding Emily, "Fix this." His voice cracking through the intercom. She watched from the upstairs window. His suit was wrinkled, his face hollow. "You can't take everything from me," he pleaded. Her expression didn't change. "You already did." She closed the curtains. Weeks passed. The media shifted tone, from scandal to admiration. Emily Carter Hale takes control of Carter Engineering. From humiliated wife to CEO. The story became legend. Women wrote to her, thanking her for proving that silence could be strength, not surrender. At the first board meeting under her leadership, the air was different. No arrogance, no intimidation, only respect. She stood at the head of the table, her voice clear. "This company will rebuild on truth, not fear. My father believed in creating things that last. We're going to do the same." She reinstated employees Jonathan had fired, reopened community projects, and launched scholarships under Carter's name. The empire was no longer built on exploitation but integrity. But revenge wasn't over. The final reckoning came in court. Jonathan stood pale and trembling as the judge read the verdict. Fraud, forgery, corporate embezzlement. 15 years, no bail. The cameras captured everything. The man who mocked his wife reduced to a whisper of his former self. When it was over, Emily walked past him. He tried to speak. "Emily, please." He paused only once. "You taught me something," she said softly. "Power built on cruelty never lasts." Then she walked out of the courthouse, her heels steady, her shoulders high. Outside, the city gleamed in sunlight. Reporters called her name, but she didn't stop. The wind caught her hair, and for the first time in years she smiled, not out of triumph but peace. Later that evening, she returned to her father's old office in Queens. The smell of sawdust and paper filled the air. On the desk lay his framed note, "Build something that gives back." She whispered, "I will, Dad." Her story wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about restoration, of truth, of dignity, of the quiet strength people mistake for weakness. And as she watched the skyline from her window, lights blinking like promises in the dark, she knew the world had finally seen her. Not as a wife, not as a victim, but as a builder of her own destiny. Jonathan Hale had lost everything. Emily Carter Hale had gained something greater. Her voice, her name, and the power to rewrite her story forever. The next chapter wasn't about vengeance. It was about legacy. And the world would never forget the woman who turned humiliation into empire. When winter finally loosened its grip on Toronto, sunlight spilled across the glass towers like forgiveness. Inside the Carter headquarters, the once muted corridors buzzed again with quiet confidence. Emily walked through them not as a survivor of scandal, but as the architect of renewal. She no longer measured success in wealth or applause, only in the lives she could rebuild. She paused by the window overlooking the skyline that had once witnessed her humiliation. Now it stood as her witness to resilience. Her voice had power, not volume. Her presence commanded without demand. The woman who once walked away from a ballroom in silence now led an empire built on truth. At the next board meeting, she ended with words her father once wrote on a scrap of paper. "Real strength never shouts. It stands." And for the first time, every person in that room understood what that meant. As the screen fades, her reflection lingers against the city lights. Calm, unshakable, free. Dizzy, if Emily's story moved you, show your support. Like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder of their own power, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales to help us keep bringing stories of courage and truth to life.